Man-made gods of wood and stone, as the true God's made us known. He is God Almighty, as He's often shown. Other gods just cannot see what in future days will be. For businesses they would call in vain, since none their godship can maintain. Here Jehovah's business is the magic business. Wise is the God of true prophecy, what He foretells comes to be.
That song brings back memories. Hey everybody, it's ex-Bethelite here. It's early in the morning where I'm at, 7:30 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. The rest of the family is still fast asleep. I'm an early riser. I'm up a lot of mornings, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I think it's the old farmer's blood in me. My great-grandfather on my father's side was a farmer, an old farmer. My grandfather was a farmer. My father was a farmer for part of his life, not the whole, not all of it. So I guess I don't know. I'm up early. Oh, by the way, I did save somebody's life this week, just so you know. No, I didn't wake anybody up from the cult. That didn't happen, unfortunately. But I did save the life of my little cat. His name is Domino, and I think I may have a picture here in my phone of Domino. So apparently, Domino, he's a good cat. He's a very well-natured cat, but he does get into things he shouldn't get into. Oh, here's a picture of him. There he is. So Domino, this past week, swallowed some string. Unfortunately, apparently that's what it was. It was like almost like a twine string, kind of a thicker. I think it was string that was used to tie something, and it got loose. And I don't know, for some reason he decided, hey, that looks yummy. Let me eat this. So he swallowed the string, and of course it created an obstruction, and he was literally dying. I took him into the vet. They did blood work. Nothing's wrong with his blood work. He showed that he had some stress, and then he wasn't getting better. We gave him something to improve his appetite. That didn't work, and we had to take him to the emergency room, and they did X-rays, and so basically, it came to like $3,000 to discover what was wrong. And what was wrong was he had swallowed some string, and it was stuck in his small intestine, and they had to do surgery to remove it. And the surgery was going to be another $5,000. So we're talking $8,000 to save this cat. That was a lot of money at the time. And I told the doctor, I said, look, I can't do $5,000. No way. We love the cat. My daughter really loves the cat. It's her best friend. I mean, they hang out all the time together. And so the doctor said, well, what can you do? And I said, look, I'll go another $1,000 on this cat. And the doctor agreed. So I did I save the cat? I mean, not monetarily. I had to spend $1,000 more, but really the doctor, the surgeon, the vet surgeon saved the life of Domino, and I'm grateful for that. And my wife and I are going to send the vet a nice little gift basket as appreciation. So thank you, Dr. B out there, for saving the life of Domino. He's a good cat, and my daughter is very, very happy now. He's doing very well. I mean, he's only, what, fourth day out of surgery, and he's going around like he almost always does. A little slower than he normally is, but he's doing well. All right, so enough about the cat in my personal life. I wanted to get into the Vice documentary that just premiered. I just watched it on YouTube. Well, I think it premiered, a couple weeks ago? I just finally got around to watching it on YouTube the other day. And I found it very interesting. A couple of the people in the documentary I was familiar with, especially from way back when I first started waking up. I would read a lot of the posts from John Redwood. And, obviously we know who he is now, Mark O'Donnell, featured in the documentary. He's featured prominently in the documentary, him and his wife, Kimberly. And I thought that it was just very well done. Vice did a great job on it. Let me share my screen here. Give you a couple of websites to look at. All right, first one we'll look at is, this is on the Daily Beasts webpage. So if you Google Vice Crusaders, Jehovah's Witnesses, this is one of the first articles that pulls up. And there's the title, Inside Jehovah's Witness Secret Pedophile Database. So the main part of the documentary was the fact that there was somebody that got a hold of a bunch of files from, I think, a couple congregations. And they were, I think the gentleman's name is Judas. Judas. There you go. Appropriate. And I guess he broke into a couple of Kingdom Halls and stole a bunch of files. And all these files were literally all marked child abuse. So they had all kinds of documented evidence of elders acquiring evidence of a crime and covering it up. Yeah, here it is in the article. Judas and Jezebel. They broke into a local Massachusetts. So this wasn't just a Kingdom Hall. I guess it was one of the branch offices, maybe, because it had a lot of files. It wasn't just like a normal Kingdom Hall that might have, maybe 2 or 3 files. This was, I think, a branch office that had a bunch of files. So these files were sent to John Redwood, who, of course, is Mark O'Donnell, and he slowly released them over Reddit and a couple of other sites. I think there's a site called Faith Leaks, which is very interesting. It's a website basically dedicated to exposing wrongdoing of various religions, not just Jehovah's Witnesses. So this article, it's very well written. The documentary was really good. I encourage everybody to watch it. So if you go on YouTube, you just type in Vice Versa Crusaders, and the Jehovah's Witness one will be the first one that comes up. So I think it's about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour documentary. What I found interesting about it was, he sent all these hard documents to Mark O'Donnell. I mean, these are the original documents. He made copies of all of it and then posted it on the internet. So basically exposing the fact that the elder body were literally instructed from Watchtower, right? Whatever, the writing department, whoever it is, the legal department of the Watchtower Tract and Bible and Tract Society. They literally told them not to report this criminal act. Many of them, right? This was just a few leaks. There's files of these that they haven't even released yet. So, yeah, I mean, any Jehovah's Witness that happens to watch that documentary, I don't know how that doesn't make you question what kind of organization are you associating with? Because it's not just ethically and morally wrong. That would be enough. It's literally criminal. They're violating and perpetrating and helping a criminal, and that's what's come out of this. And I think this is just the beginning. I believe there's going to be a lot of criminal investigations into elder bodies at various congregations all around the United States. I believe there's going to be more lawsuits that are going to be filed, especially in the state of New York, where they've lifted the statute of limitations. So you're just seeing the very, very beginning of, I think, the next 10 to 20 years of constant legal problems for Jehovah's Witness, the Jehovah's Witness organization, specifically the governing body. Don't be surprised if you see them hauled into court in a grand jury type of testimony. Because I can tell you right now, if that happens, if they end up forcing the leadership of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society to show up in a legal matter, in a legal proceeding, every Jehovah's Witness is going to know about it. This is going to be way, way bigger than the Australian Royal Commission, which was a big deal that exposed a lot of lies. I think this will be even bigger. So we'll have to see what happens. You know, the Watchtower has very, very powerful lawyers that probably work for free, I would assume, right? I mean, I'm sure they put, I remember when I was in Bethel, they'd have that orientation where they take you around the different departments. And I remember being in one of the departments where they had one of their lawyers show up, and he talked about the legal department and how they defend the the freedoms and rights of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that is true. There's no doubt about it. Religious freedom in this country is very important. And the Jehovah's Witness religion has contributed quite a bit to that religious freedom. All the Supreme Court cases that allowed them to come knock on your door. I know a lot of people don't like that, but in this country, you do have a right to proselytize, as the saying goes. And that was spearheaded by Jehovah's Witnesses. So they did some good things for religious freedom. There's no doubt about that. But now their legal focus is going to be on defense, a constant defense, not just from being sued civilly, but I think the criminal investigations, they are now beginning. At the end of the documentary, they even indicated that this is now being investigated, especially in the state of Massachusetts. These congregations where these files were stolen, they are seeking prosecution against the elder body and also the Watchtower. So I think you're just seeing the very, very beginning of decades-long legal issues for Jehovah's Witnesses. And I think if the activists, right, that show up at conventions, I think eventually you're going to see a lot of signs that basically say, where are your donations going? Your donations are literally going to fight legal cases. That's where the majority of Jehovah's Witnesses donations are going to be going. It's not to print literature anymore. Let's face it. They're not printing literature. Most everything is digital now. They don't want to print literature. They have scaled back their operation of physically printing literature. to probably, back to the 1950s. I mean, they really trimmed it way back. They want everyone to use digital. Of course, it costs less, and the reason why is because they're having to use funds to defend themselves in court proceedings, and that's just beginning. So it'll be interesting to see when activists show up at conventions, if they ever have them again. I know this year's convention was all basically digital and online. But if there ever is physical conventions again, which I think there will be in another year or two, once the pandemic is sort of way in the rear view mirror, right now you've got these mutations happening in the virus, which even if you're vaccinated doesn't mean anything. Just as many people that are vaccinated are getting this variant strain as people that aren't. So yeah, it's interesting what's going on right now. So that it'll be interesting to see at these conventions if they start really, if the main Jehovah's Witness group, if they really start questioning what's going on here, especially if they are made aware that, hey, your donations are going predominantly to fight legal problems. Why do you think that is something you want to be associated with, an organization that is constantly being sued, constantly being criminally investigated? I mean, I'm thinking that could really wake up a large portion of the Jehovah's Witness group. At least maybe here in the United States. I know in the United States, a lot of people are waking up constantly. You're hearing, especially if you follow groups of ex-witnesses, there's congregations that are basically being split. They're selling off kingdom halls. They're telling witnesses, hey, you got to travel 30 to 45 minutes now if you want to go to a meeting. So of course, most people are doing Zoom meetings now. They're not going to the kingdom hall. They're doing these Zoom meetings. How many people are tuning in to these Zoom meetings? I could literally see. I mean, I kind of picture myself like putting on the Zoom meeting on my laptop in the kitchen while I'm doing work around the kitchen, probably not really paying attention. I could easily see a lot of witnesses doing that, or they put it on their laptop and they're on their phone looking at whatever, Instagram, Facebook. Well, that's right. They can't be on Facebook. They can be on Instagram. Jehovah's Witnesses are on Instagram, by the way. They're not on Facebook or Twitter, to my knowledge, or they're not supposed to be. Once in a while, you find a witness that is. I from my past life, I knew a lot of people, and once in a while, I find somebody that has a Facebook profile, and I'm like, I wonder if their elders knew that. But yeah, we're living in interesting times right now. So this article from the Daily Beast, it's a really good summary of that documentary. And Mark O'Donnell, by the way, a former elder, very, very knowledgeable guy. Believe me, he's the last guy that Watchtower wants going against them. He's very, very, well, at least he seems very, very on top of things. I've watched him in a lot of the live streams with Lloyd Evans, and he's very knowledgeable, especially regarding a lot of the legal proceedings, a lot of the legal court cases that are going on. He's on top of that very, very well. And, this is the guy that has a lot of evidence that's going to be brought forth in criminal proceedings eventually. So he's an important figure in the activist movement against Jehovah's Witnesses. I reached out to him a few days ago and asking if he'd like to come on my show to do an interview, and he definitely is open to it. I know he said for the next couple of weeks he's very, very busy, but sounds like I might be able to get him on my show, which would be awesome. I reached out to Lloyd Evans once too. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I think Lloyd likes to have people on his show predominantly, so I don't know that he'll come on mine, but I might be able to get Mark O'Donnell on the show, which would be awesome. Really, really nice guy. I definitely have a lot of respect for what he's doing. And the documentary, a lot of the documentary focuses on him and his efforts. So I would say your two biggest prominent activists, I know the witnesses like to say apostates because they like to demonize terminology, right? We know that that's their use of language. We like to say activists. So Mark O'Donnell and definitely Lloyd Evans. And then they had that author, that female author on, I can't remember her name. She's in the documentary as well. There's a couple YouTubers that are also in the documentary that have pretty good channels. And I remember watching them before. So yeah, it's great to see this exposing of the dirty side of the religion. All I know is, I grew up in that religion, in that cult, and I've never seen, in all the years, I've never seen any type of opposition, any type of bad press, reproach on Jehovah's name like you see today. And I don't know how they're going to put these fires out. I think Watchtower is in big, big trouble. I don't think they can. They're not going to ever. I don't think they're ever going to get ahead of it. And what irony, isn't it? They claim to, the reason they are not going to report pedophilia within the congregation was to protect the reputation, right? The reputation of who? Well, the reputation of the organization. Remember, it's an organization. They never use this as a religion. They call it the organization. That, they make a more of a secular term out of it. But it's all about protecting the organization. And what irony! All this has done, their efforts to try to protect the name has really only drug it through the mud even more. It's unbelievable. And this is the problem, though, right? Even with all this bad publicity, they are increasing their grip on the average Jehovah's Witness. They're constantly telling them to not listen to the apostate, stay away from the apostate. Everything's apostate, right? Even though these are just reports of things that have really happened. This is documented evidence of wrongdoing by elder bodies, by the legal department of Watchtower. Clearly they're in the wrong, and we have the proof. We actually have documented evidence that's going to be submitted into criminal proceedings. Massachusetts will be the first state, probably New York. You're going to see a lot of these investigations going on. And I'm telling you, this is the beginning of the end. And that's why, I think that's also why the governing body, last November, they came out and said, oh, Armageddon, we're within 12 months of Armageddon. They literally are telling witnesses now that the Great Tribulation is starting right now. Well, it is for them. It is for legally and criminally. It is going to be a great tribulation for them. And of course, they have the persecution complex. They love to tell, that's their out all the time is, you see what's going on. This is Satan opposing God's true religion. This was predicted to happen, right? That's their approach. This is all predicted, that we would be persecuted. We would be singled out by Satan and his system. I mean, the generation thing, I just think back when that all came out and happened, and they basically had to eat crow because for years and years, decades and decades, through their literature. By the way, old literature is basically apostate material now, right? If you are caught with any of those, I think any publication before 1960, it's literally considered by elders as apostate material, which is completely insane because it's published by your leadership. But that generation, the generation teaching, it's amazing that doesn't wake up more people. It's just amazing. And the pedophilia now, they're saying that in that documentary, they said that this is just the beginning. This could be the largest case of sexual abuse cover-up of any religion in the history of mankind. That's how big it is. And I think that's what's going to happen. This two-witness rule is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. They went into pretty good detail in the documentary about the two-witness rule. Of course, a sexual abuser and their victim, which is typically a child, where's there going to be another witness? The sexual abuser is going to do this in front of somebody else? I don't think so, right? So it's completely crazy to expect to hold to that standard, but that's what they're doing, and it's going to destroy this cult. I think it absolutely will. Imagine every state in this country, there are criminal proceedings against the Watchtower and the governing body. And I'm telling you, when you see these guys get hauled up in a grand jury, it's over. That'll be the end, because witnesses, entire congregations will absolutely wake up. I'm predicting that this will happen. I think that these guys are going to be, these 8 men are going to get dragged into court, and they are going to be exposed for what they have done. We have the evidence, a lot more than just one file. We've got lots of files. And I think that think about this. That's the other thing that they talked about in the documentary. Imagine if you have a defector within the ranks, a branch overseer, a circuit overseer. What kind of evidence could they bring to the table as to the inner workings of even more cover-up, even more criminal activity, illegal activity that has been perpetrated by the Watchtower organization? How much could they expose? That's the other thing that I think is going to be a tipping point. Is don't be surprised if someone very high up within that organization, a branch overseer, a circuit overseer, somebody who has access and power, ends up waking up and leaving and grabbing a bunch of evidence with them as they walk out the door. That should keep those 8 guys up in New York. That should keep them up at night, in my opinion, because that's what's really going to take down the cult tremendously. And I think that that's going to happen. I mean, we already know that there are PMOs inside Bethel. That's been proven. They're leaking videos that were only shown to Bethelites. So we know that they are in Bethel. We have PMOs, people that don't believe, right? And they're leaking information to activists. That's happening right now. Imagine when you've got a branch overseer, circuit overseer, somebody on the writing committee, one of the helpers to the governing body. Now, I don't think anybody from the governing body will defect. I know years ago you had Ray Franz, which that was a big deal when that happened. There was a lot of people that left the cult when Ray Franz left and came out with his book, because this was a very nice, very humble guy. He just basically exposed, this is what's happening. They did something wrong, and all he did was say, look, I'm going to expose the truth, and that was it. So I don't think the 8 guys that are in there now, I don't think one of them will defect. I think it's going to be a branch overseer, somebody within the inner workings that's not one of the governing body. Could be a governing body helper. somebody's going to defect, and I think they're going to grab a bunch of evidence out the door. So, I mean, we already have a lot of evidence, but the more we get, I think the easier it will be to take down this organization and this cult. And I think this is just the beginning. So, I've tried to let everybody know about this documentary. I've posted it on Facebook. What I need to do is I need to create an Instagram account for Ex-Bethelite. I haven't done that yet. Obviously, my channel is still growing. Hopefully, I can get on a couple other people's channels and get my name out there a little bit more. But I think this documentary, it's definitely worth watching. And, if you've got Witness, if you still have Witness family, send them a link. I know they'll probably delete it. Try to send a link anyways. Send it to them. Just say, hey, if you really think you have the truth, then watching this should not be a problem for you. And that's always the thing that I find amazing that they dodge. If you really think you have the truth, if you really think that your cult, your religion is the only way to worship God, why won't you listen to any criticism? Why won't you consider any evidence to the contrary? And, you mentioned that scripture of the Bereans, how they were checking, and they were, basically they didn't just take somebody at their word. They checked everything, right? Well, why can't you do that? Why don't you watch this documentary? This documentary is clearly showing evidence of wrongdoing by the Watchtower. And we have documented evidence of it. They show screen prints of letters from the elder body where they talk about a particular sexual abuse case and how they literally say, do not release this to the authorities. What other evidence do you need? That's it. It's right there. So I think that's what everyone that, obviously the people watching my live stream, the people that are watching my videos, 95% are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Once in a while, I'm sure, I know once in a while there's Jehovah's Witness or probably a PMO or somebody that's not completely out will watch. But I think that that's what we need to do is send the link of that documentary, that Vice Crusaders documentary, to every witness that and challenge them. Say, hey, watch this for 10 minutes. I dare you to. I dare you to open up your mind and not just continually buy the propaganda that's being pushed by Watchtower constantly. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. That watching that documentary kind of it fired, it lit another fire under me. And I need to do more videos. I need to be a little bit more active, trying to get on other channels. I don't think I'm going to be one of these guys that shows up at a Kingdom Hall or protest at a convention or anything like that. I don't see myself doing any of that. I think the way I can do it is just through this channel, through interacting with other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in the community, being on other channels, and just getting the word out. Hopefully somebody watches these videos. I know YouTube has definitely helped a lot of people wake up. I have a friend, by the way, hopefully I'll have her on the channel at some point. She's not quite ready yet to do it, but she's been in the process of waking up. She's basically completely woken up now to it. She struggled for many, many years mentally with this cult and the grip it had on her, the grip it's had on her family. And she's finally been able to break free from it. And not only that, but she's fired up. Like she wants to, and that's the thing. Why do cults create activists? Why are there so many people opposed? If your religion is so virtuous, if your religion is so true, why is there so much opposition to it? Oh, because that's Satan. That's what they try to tell their members, that all these apostates, all these people that are opposed to our religion, that's Satan attacking us. It's completely ridiculous. It's complete garbage. No, it's because human beings do not like to see injustice prevail. We want justice. That's the reason I formed my channel. That's the reason I'm speaking out, because I can't be silent anymore. I've got to do something to try to get to people. If my videos wake one person up, helps to wake one person up and helps them to leave this dangerous cult, it will have been worth everything. So that's the way I feel about it. And that's why I'm going to continue to do these videos. I mean, I just started end of last year. I'm still a baby in this. Still have a long way to go, a lot to learn. Especially, I don't have a lot of video quality, but hopefully that will improve over time. And I appreciate everybody that's been subscribed to my channel, who has been watching my videos, commenting. I get a lot of nice comments. People in the live stream, I appreciate you. Christine W., good to see you as well. No JW, and we got Mark as well. Thank you all for joining the live stream. I didn't expect to have very many people in the live stream. It's amazing. I have 13 people watching right now, 14 people. It is early in the morning. I probably would have had a lot more people watching if I had done this a little later in the day. But, when you wake up in the morning, you kind of get your thoughts, like, I don't know, maybe I had a dream about something. My mind just seems really clear sometimes in the morning. So I just felt like, I need to do it right now while I'm thinking about things. I've been thinking about that documentary a lot. That's why I did do a video right away. I watched it a few days ago. I like to process it in my mind, think about it, think about the points I wanted to review and discuss. But yeah, that documentary is fantastic. Make sure you check it out. After I post this video, I'll put a link to the YouTube channel for that video, that documentary. I'll make sure to have it in the description. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know let me know if you've shared that video with anybody that's still in. That would be awesome to know if you've been able to do that. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me for a bit. I'll have another live stream next week. I'll try to come up with another topic that we can look at, and I'll keep you posted on Mark O'Donnell. I'm going to try to have him on the channel. I think that would be a fantastic discussion, and we'll go into more detail, especially regarding all the evidence and what is the outline and the procedures. I'd like to get into the detail on that, like how are these things going to come about? What courts are going to be really looking at this evidence? So I'm going to try to get Mark O'Donnell on the program, on the live stream, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, thanks for joining, and have a great day. I'll see you soon.